On the Talkback Show, on the radio, town to town, up and down the dial. Welcome to the GBC Podcast, where we talk about the Packers and our hometown of Green Bay. We are the official podcast of the Lot 1 Tailgate Party, which is at Lambeau Field every home game. This is episode 118, created October 7th, 2025. And October 7th is Charles Woodson's birthday. He's 49 today. I'm John. I'm in Appleton, Wisconsin. Along with me, Jeff in Minnesota and Neil on the East Coast. Say hello, gentlemen, and tell us what you're drinking.
Hello, gentlemen. Tonight, I went back to basics. One of my favorite bourbons, the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked.
One thing that connects Green Bay and Cincinnati is cheese, whether it's on chili or on everything. And what can you put in cheese that's going to make it seem like it's healthy? Broccoli. I'm having an other half broccoli, double dry hopped Imperial IPA.
All right. And Jeff, I did put some thought into this because when we were in Cincinnati, we stayed in Kentucky and we drank a lot of bourbon that weekend. So yes, I have a Wilderness Trail bourbon for tonight's show. You can find us on YouTube and Twitter at Green Bay Chat and Facebook at the GBC Podcast Green Bay Chat. And just the audio is available on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify by searching for Green Bay Chat. Well, it's the bye week. There's no game to review unless you guys really want to talk about the nice weekend you had. But we are looking ahead, yes, to week 6. The Green Bay Packers coming home. It will be a month since their last home game, and the Cincinnati Bengals are coming into town. So that means it's a home game. We will definitely be talking tailgating. And if we're talking tailgating in Green Bay and we're talking about Cincinnati, we got to talk about our friend Bengal Jim, who's going to bring his show to Green Bay as well. But before all that, there's a game to get ready for. What do you see coming up on Sunday?
In this game, we have two teams that are trending in very different directions. If you look at the Packers, obviously we know where the Packers have been. We know that our offense has been really good against Dallas, but fundamentally we are a team that is coming off a bye and is looking to be strong. Comparing the Packers versus Cincinnati, Packers 7th overall in DVOA, Cincinnati 32nd. Our offense 11th, defense 3rd, special teams 25th. It's kind of shocking we're 25th. Cincinnati 31st in offense DVOA, 30th in defensive DVOA. They're 18th in special teams. They've got better special teams than we do, but that's a pretty good start as far as the game preview is concerned.
So, Neil, what you're saying is there's a chance that this defense of the Bengals is, well, not very good, and we're hoping for a real bounce back here, aren't we?
Well, the defense isn't very good, but they've just added Joe Flacco, and now we've got to worry about, can we lose twice to Joe Flacco in a single season? And more importantly, are we now in the AFC North? Have we changed division somehow?
Yeah. Well, it's not just losing to Joe Flacco twice. It's right, in a non-division game. And this is something we've known about since the Joe Burrow injury, that the Bengals were actively pursuing someone to come in to play quarterback. The Packers even got a trade offer for Malik Willis. It wasn't a very good trade offer. It was a 6th-round pick by all accounts. Now in this trade, the Bengals are sending a 5th-round pick to Cleveland in exchange for Joe Flacco and a 6th-round pick. And this works out for Cleveland because they made the decision to let's bring Dylan Gabriel up and let Joe Flacco go. Dylan Gabriel, the game in London against the Vikings, didn't have a terrible debut. They didn't win the game, but again, he looks like a kid that they can get to work there in Cleveland. That's a different story. Our story is we got to face Joe Flacco again.
Yeah, but going back to the offense, in yards per game, they are 32nd in the NFL this year at only 229 yards per game. Passing offense, obviously, you expect there to be a drop-off with Joe Burrow injured at 29th, only 172 yards per game. But the one that's a killer for them is that they are 32nd in rushing yards per game at only 57 rushing yards per game. 31st is 80 yards per game. They are 23 yards per game behind 31st for rushing yards per game. That's something that is going to be a problem for their offense and is an opportunity for our defense.
Neil, what you're saying is they're not very good. So let's focus on our defense, which started out great. And there's a little hiccup against Dallas, but this is a defense that needs to get right as well, doesn't it?
They do. And again, maybe Dallas is just really good on offense, and Dak has gotten some MVP praise now. Our defense, mind you, is still 3rd overall in DVOA. We are 4th overall in yards per game, 11th against the pass, and that was certainly impacted by Dak, 2nd against the run, 11th in points. So it's not like we've completely shit ourselves as far as defense is concerned. We had one bad game. Okay. We had one bad game. I feel confident that the numbers of 3 games are more important than the numbers of just one game. And certainly the bye was a time to focus on what did we do against Dallas that we did differently, and how are we going to get back to being a dominant defense? And I'm sure that is a focus.
And with that, not just the Dallas game, let's not forget the Cleveland game. And you cannot tell me that the Packer defense didn't overlook Cleveland getting ready for Dallas. It just was very prevalent in the way they played the game. And now
in the way they played the fourth quarter, the fourth quarter.
But I'm concerned that this defense was maybe lackadaisical in their prep this week. It's like, oh, this Jake Browning kid can't do shit, right? And now all of a sudden Joe Flacco is going to come in, even on only a couple of days. Flacco is a terrific veteran. He is a guy who can come in and can't do worse than Browning did, that's for sure. So he's going to be able to come in and throw with a little bit more authority. This defense now needs to be ready for a much better quarterback coming in on Sunday.
And perhaps more importantly, Joe Flacco is somebody to throw to, right? Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are top receivers. Even with the weaknesses of the Cincinnati offense, Jamar Chase is 10th in total receiving yards this year at 374, 3 touchdowns. T. Higgins is a little bit behind that, but Chase and Higgins is an important test as far as our defense. Our defensive backs on the backside as far as covering them, but our defensive front as far as making sure that Joe Flacco does not have time to throw the ball to those very dynamic and very dangerous receivers.
That's my biggest concern, is that Dak's receivers were good, but nobody was outstanding in that game. They stepped up, but now we're facing some of the best receivers in the league. If Flacco is able to get the ball out quickly, if our rushers cannot get home, get Flacco rattled, he's going to keep dumping the ball off. And that's what my biggest concern is that the yards after the catch could be huge if we can't get tackles and if we can't get pressure, because he's going to do the exact same thing that Dak did, but with way better receivers.
It's even more than that, first of all, I don't think that Joe Flacco actually gets rattled, right? I mean, he can get pressured because he is old and slow, but he is very potent as far as throwing the ball downfield and chucking it up to receivers like Chase and Higgins against some of our D-backs, especially if he's targeting a Valentine or somebody like that. That's a real concern. And going back to my season preview, the original one, the one that never made the air, I had us losing this game against Cincinnati because I thought this is a game where the quarterback and receivers could exploit our secondary. And I didn't have that concern with Browning. I do have that concern with Higgins and Chase, and now with Joe Flacco being able to chuck the ball deep and having that veteran savvy, that ability to make big plays that he has shown throughout his career.
And Jeff, you talk about that quickness getting off. We know Flacco can handle the Packer defense, right? He showed that in the Cleveland game. He didn't get rattled. Surprisingly, with Cincinnati, the knock on this Cincinnati team for the last 5 years has been not having a strong offensive line. And it's literally an issue that hasn't been resolved for them. And so you look at that and you say, okay, now can this defense put added pressure on because maybe the offensive line is not as good as what Cleveland had? Supposedly Dallas wasn't supposed to have one either. But again, what happened? Those first 2 games, as you mentioned, this defense is world beaters. They're getting home. They're just crushing everybody. And then the Cleveland and the Dallas game, just kind of flat. So you take into the factor you've got a bye week. You're playing at home. Every game is a must win, right? But it's like this is an inferior team. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Cincinnati right now is an inferior team. This defense needs to be ready to take advantage of that.
Well, and if the defense can't, our offense has got to score as many points as possible, because Cincinnati's defense have given up 20 touchdowns overall in 5 games. Cincinnati is one of the worst defenses, whether it's pass defense, whether it's rush defense, whether it's giving up a whole boatload of points. There's an opportunity for our offense here to score a ton of points, and maybe that's what it's going to come down to. Who scores last?
And we know this offense can score points. Other than that Cleveland game, 27, 27, and 40 points in your 3 non-losses this season.
And Cincinnati's defense is allowing 31.2 points per game. To follow up Jeff's point, they're allowing 391 yards per game, 259 yards of passing, 132 yards of rushing per game. All of those numbers seem like it's going to be Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, that entire receiving core, maybe the entire tight end core. We should be overwhelming them for our offense versus their defense. And at that level, doesn't even matter what our defense does, even though I actually truly care about what our defense does. We're in a situation where our offense should make all of those discussions irrelevant.
I think big picture wise, the three of us hold Cincinnati and the Bengals. There's a little special place in our heart. This is kind of where it all began for us, right? We made this decision back in 2021 that we're just going to go to a road game every year. And we picked Cincinnati as the first one. And it couldn't have been a better choice. Cincinnati had a great tailgating experience. We met Bengal Jim, had a great day with him, and just a game that we were very excited about. And it also got us rolling on doing a podcast, something we said, hey, we should do this. It went on the back burner, right, Neil, for a little bit, and then it came back again later in the year. But as far as the podcast goes, our Packer road trips, it all goes back to Cincinnati in 2021.
And it was also just enjoying the city that was the host for the game. We did a chili tasting in a number of different chili places. We stayed in Covington. We had a blast in Covington. We enjoyed the Packers Everywhere experience and all of the Packers fans who were there. It was about absorbing everything that is beautiful about fandom and really enjoying all of those elements of your fellow fans and of the fans of the other team. It was a perfect weekend in Cincinnati in 2021.
And bourbon, Neil. You forgot the bourbon.
I would be the one to forget the bourbon because I am not the bourbon guy. You two are the bourbon guys.
And Antonio Freeman. You forgot Antonio Freeman, Neil.
We had a great time in Covington, no doubt.
Yeah, we were right next to Mac's Pizza, the Packer Bar, which is actually in Covington as opposed to being in Cincinnati. But Jeff, just a fun weekend. It was a great road trip for us in the car. The weather was perfect the whole way around. And it's one of those things where we said, this really needs to be a tradition.
It turned out to be so fun. Very little expectation. I don't think we really knew what we were getting ourselves into. And, you know, the Airbnb literally being across the alley from the Packer Bar. I mean, this was sort of an omen. We were like, oh my God, could this really be the case? And just, Covington was great. It felt like kind of a street party with all the music and people out and about. Like I said, the weather was gorgeous. So, it was a great way to start quite a fun and exciting tradition.
And it was a reaction in the end to, we had been doing everything in 2020 as sort of a COVID and video thing. It's like we all needed to just sort of get out, and it was a get out. And we did it in part just as let's just sort of start getting out and seeing each other again. But we realized that no, it's that connection that matters so much. And that is why the road trips are so much fun.
And somehow these Cincinnati Green Bay games end up being very warm weather games, right? For us, that was an October game, right? And in Cincinnati, it was 86 degrees at kickoff that day. It was very warm.
Does the 86 degrees impact why nobody could make a field goal that game?
I was about to go there. Maybe. There was the field goal frenzy in Cincinnati. But now you go back 8 years, 2017, when the Bengals came here. The hottest kickoff temperature on record at Lambeau Field, 89 degrees. That was a game that went into overtime as well. And just something interesting about these teams. Now let's look ahead to this Sunday. Again, unseasonably warm in Green Bay, projected to be about 70 degrees at kickoff. Not hottest temperatures, but still 70 degrees for October isn't too bad for a home game.
Hey, let's not forget Brett Favre replaced Don Majkowski at Lambeau on September 20th, 1992. And he led the Packers to a come-from-behind victory, 24-23, also against Cincinnati.
And for Brett, where it all began, against Cincinnati. What an amazing connection.
But speaking about weather, John, tell us about the weather for tailgating.
Oh, I think it's going to be a great day, Sunday. First of all, 3:25 kickoff. That means you don't have to get up early on Sunday. So we're going to have probably a really good weekend overall in Green Bay. Fans coming from Cincinnati. These fans travel well. So let's start there. You know, Packer fans, we travel well. We went to Cincinnati. We met Jim. We hung out at his tailgate party there in Cincinnati. Very whonderful host. Great people in Cincinnati. I think everywhere we went, the Who Days. I know, Neil, you got tired of me saying Who Day to everybody. But
John, you're horrid. Just admit it and it's fine.
It happened, and it made it memorable. It was one of those things where I think that just because of the way Bengals fans are with that, when they see the green and they hear that person in green say Who Day, boy, did it just kind of break the tension everywhere we went. It was great that way. So now I'm hoping that the favor is returned, that when these Bengals fans come in, they're expecting a huge number of Bengals fans to come in. In fact, let's put in a plug for Bengal Jim. It is called the Bengal Fan Invasion of Green Bay. It is going to be Sunday, October 12th at 11:30 a.m. It is at the bar on Holmgren Way. It is going to be a 3-hour tailgate party kickoff. It is in the outdoor parking lot at the bar, and kind of a big, just all-inclusive event with beer and beverages and Wisconsin-themed grilled buffet and things like that. Get this, they're limiting the tickets to 750 people. That's how big of a crowd they are expecting. And if you haven't bought your tickets by now, they're upwards of about $60 per person. So yeah, this is a big event. I think that'll be great to see all the Bengals fans. And I already told Jim, I said, hey, you got to leave the bar and you're going to go to the Oneida Gate to get in. You got to walk right by Lot 1. So it'll be a great day at the Lot 1 tailgate party as well.
My brother will be at the game, and I'm sure he is looking forward to the entire Lot 1 experience.
Boy, this is a huge season for your brother to get out there and get to a lot of games. And for his benefit, we're doing a weather report as well. So I hope he enjoys the unseasonably warm day in October in Green Bay. The 3:25 kickoff means that Lot 1 will open up at 11:25. By 11:30, we should have everything up and running. So the shot skis will be going, the music will be going. We'll have a great spot right there in the main concourse. So again, warm weather, haven't been at home in a month. Bengals fans that travel well, we're looking forward to a great day in Green Bay.
John, do you have a musical theme that you're going to be going with this time?
Funny you should say that, Jeff, because I was very worried about this theme that I came up with. And I had to consult my rock and roll friends, John and Blair, that I do a annual radio show with. I wanted to do arena rock type songs. I'm thinking we got to go big, rock anthems. And the question I asked them is, would it be in bad taste to play a song by The Who while Cincinnati comes into town? For those of you who don't remember, in 1979, there was a tragedy that happened in Cincinnati where some people were trampled to death for a general admission show as The Who played Cincinnati. And their commentary was, it's been a while since that incident has passed. The Who has played Cincinnati since then. So yes, I will be dropping some great arena rock anthems and a song by The Who on Sunday.
John, is there anything else we should know about Lot 1 tailgating?
It's free. It's open to everybody. We're very welcoming to visiting fans, first-time fans. We want everybody to have the Lambeau Field experience. So just come on by Lot 1. This isn't going to be the Halloween game, but it's always adult trick-or-treating and tailgate parties in and around Lot 1, Lot 2, wherever you go around Lambeau Field. And so overall, I expect a great day in Green Bay because every day in Green Bay is a great day. But it'll be a good football game day. It'll be a great tailgating day. We look forward to the Cincinnati fans coming into town. I'm sad that you guys aren't going to be there, Jeff. It's even your birthday week. I'll be thinking of you, hoping that we do get together. We'll get together in November for some games, but that we'll talk about further down the road. Other than that, looking forward to just a great game against the Bengals, hoping that the Packers can get back on track, score some points, and let the defense be strong. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm certainly glad that this is a home game. This is the only Packer home game in 51 days. So the next home game isn't until November. So they've got to make this one count. I was going through Twitter today, saw this really weird statistic. Jamar Chase has more solo tackles at 5 than Micah Parsons has solo tackles at 4. Ooh. Here's hoping that Jamar Chase has to make more solo tackles in this game because of the interceptions thrown by one Joe Flacco. But let's also hope that Micah Parsons can feed off this home energy again and the defense gets back on track. The offense is going and we score a ton of points, shut them down, and get a huge victory in October against Cincinnati.
The last time the Packers played the Bengals was only 4 years ago, but this team has changed a lot, and we're now in the let's mention some guys portion as far as considering this game. Players who are on the stat line for the last Packers-Bengals game: Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Devontae Adams, Mercedes Lewis, Randall Cobb, Robert Tonyan, Alan Lazard, Kylan Hill, who also is on our kickoff returns, Amari Rodgers for punt returns. We had Adrian Amos, Devondre Campbell, Darnell Savage, Chris Barnes, Kenny Clark, Kevin King, Eric Stokes, Preston Smith, Chandler Sullivan, Isaac Gannon, Oren Burks, Dean Lowry, Tyler Lancaster, Kingsley Kiki, Henry Black, TJ Slayton, Tyler Davis, EQ, Shamar Jean Charles, Malik Taylor, Ladarius Hamilton, and Jonathan Garvin, with our special teams being Mason Crosby and Corey Bajorquez. The only player on the stat line the last time we played the Bengals 4 years ago was Rashawn Gary. Let's see a big game from Rashawn Gary, because that is our only connection to that game 4 years ago. NFL, not for long. The Packers roster shows that. Obviously, Jordan Love was a backup quarterback at that time, but fundamentally, our team has completely changed over. New game, new team. Let's see this Packers team dominate. Go Pack, go.
And right now, only 7 sacks combined between Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons, who we mentioned. Fans are coming into town. They want to see big things from this defense. People are stoked about Micah Parsons. We need this defense to play strong on Sunday. All right, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit subscribe and leave us a comment. You can find the GBC Podcast at Green Bay Chat. That is all one word. We are on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Blue Sky, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And we are on Facebook at the GBC Podcast - Green Bay Chat. And you can follow us on any and all of those social media platforms. And may you fully appreciate the magnitude of your impending good fortune. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Go Pack, go.